Time to play political action game. Do you know how Congress is bought and paid for? Flex your Citizens United knowledge. Let's play Puppet Party. What is Citizens United? Citizens United refers to a landmark United States Supreme Court case, Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission 2010. The case centered around the regulation of political campaign spending by organizations, particularly corporations and unions. The decision had a significant impact on campaign finance laws and the role of money in politics. The Supreme Court ruled that restrictions on independent political expenditures by corporations, unions, and other groups violated the First Amendment's protection of free speech. The court held that these entities, including corporations, have a right to spend money to express their political views, just as individual citizens do. The decision effectively lifted the limitations on corporate and union spending in political campaigns and pumped billions into the political game industry. The ruling led to the rise of super PACs, political action committees, and increased the influence of money in politics as it removed restrictions on the ability of corporations and unions to spend money in support of or against political candidates. Special interests have been given a blank check to pick and choose who is the best puppet they can purchase through campaign contributions and hate campaigns against their opponents. This decision has contributed tenfold to corporate and billionaire influence in elections. This is why we are where we are, why we the people's voices are never heard and are readily ignored. This destructive decision has created the political action game. Let's play. Who are the players? First, we the people player, the voters. Then we have special interest players, war contractors and profiteers, corporations, insurance and finance, billionaires and elite, and group special interests such as the World Economic Forum and other unelected groups. How to play. First, number one, to begin each round, the Congress is decided by an unfair, archaic system called the Electoral College. This system immediately gives small population states a voting handicap and gives them 4 times the power as the rest of us. This is passed off to voters as democracy and spins the reality that we are somehow empowered by a system designed to cheat we the people out of our voice and power. Number 2, we the people player first begin by picking a team, their political party. This requires complete dedication and loyalty to the team, no matter what direction they lead you policy-wise, or if you end up voting against your best interest. We the people player must proceed to the game board through the political party door by voting in the Electoral College way. Number 3, special interest player can proceed directly to the game board, getting immediate access to representatives who look like them and have been appointed by their investment in PACs designed to swing voters for or against candidates with large amounts of money spent on individual races in strategic districts or states. Number 4, whoever raises the most money and appoints the most representatives wins. Ready, set, go. How to score. Number 1, appoint a congressional puppet by investing in their campaign on both the lobby end and by striking a complete hate campaign against their opponent with your PAC. Spend tons of money in the process. Number 2, unseat an incumbent who rejected your pork projects and legislation requests last lobby season. Back a candidate who will put your special interests on the front burner of their legislative actions, who will win when the incumbent is unseated. Number 3, get legislation passed with your lobby and PAC efforts that your special interest has handwritten to benefit your pocketbook or power level. Number 4, strategically get people who are sympathetic to your issues appointed to judges, secretaries, and other power positions. Number 5, court stacking. Strategically place SCOTUS justices in at state and federal levels to remove any annoying laws that currently stand in the way of your agenda. So on the scoreboard at this time, we the people player for legislation and appointees by voting, legislation for the people, 0, Budget appropriated for, 0. Congressional executives that we've appointed in executive branch or judicial, 0. We the people, 0 points. Political parties, their legislation and appointees, they have legislation for the party, budgets appropriated for the party. Congressional, executive, and judicial appointees, they get 5 points. Special interest players are the same. Their legislation and appointees, they have legislation for special interests, budgets appropriated, or profits mandated for, and they have many appointees in the executive, judicial, and congressional branch. 5 points for special interest players. There are a couple cheat codes that we don't have access to as we, the people voter. Cheat code, gerrymander. Are you ready to play? You choose your best voters for your district. Number 6, appoint judges that will veto any efforts to redraw your gerrymander and make sure you always choose your best voters. Political appointee winner, cheat code number 7, political appointee investment. We want to first congratulate Betsy DeVos for winning the political appointee game. You just proved that money does buy a cabinet secretary appointment. Amazing. Department of Education secretary. Trump understood the assignment. A couple quotes from Nancy DeVos about her political investment that she has made. She says, "My family is the largest single contributor of soft money to the National Republican Party. I have decided, however, to stop taking offense at the suggestion that we are buying influence. Now I simply concede the point. We expect to foster a conservative governing philosophy consisting of limited government and respect for traditional American virtues. We expect a return on our investment. We expect a good and honest government. Furthermore, we expect the Republican Party to use the money to promote these policies and, yes, to win elections." Going further, she said, "People like us must surely be stopped." Cheat code, voter purge. Get rid of your opponent's voters and keep the best voters for you. Number 9, have the Secretary of State purge your opponent's voter registrations and hide behind policy for your reason. When their voters show up, they're not registered to vote any longer. New district, no problem. Number 10, cheat code, vote and run for office in a strategic district. Congratulations to Dr. Oz for playing the disappearing district game. You just proved that the actual district you live in disappears when the perfect district to run in opens up. Amazing. A couple things about Dr. Oz's race is he doesn't live in Pennsylvania. He lives in New Jersey. Here's what Reuters had to say about him as he entered the race. He enters the race days after another Republican candidate, military veteran Sean Parnell, who had received Trump's endorsement, ended his own campaign. Parnell dropped out following a court ruling that outlined allegations of domestic abuse against his estranged wife, which Parnell has denied. In steps Dr. Oz. Oz, who hosts the syndicated The Dr. Oz Show, brings substantial name recognition to a wide open November 8th, 2022 contest that could determine control of the Senate and the fate of Democratic President Joe Biden's agenda. Reuters. And here's what Dr. Oz has to say about his new home. They're not houses, they're properties. Scoreboard at the end of that election season. We the people, 0. Special interests, 5. Political parties, 5. Tip to the people, we are losing. How we the people win. We use a 3-prong approach. We remote workers unite, number 1. We then use our second prong with the Remote Workers PAC, and then we vote smarter, not harder. Under the Remote Workers Unite will be the lobbying arm. Remote Workers Association lobbies for and educates representatives about our issues and what legislation we want passed, and helps to raise campaign funds for those reps who reject the military-industrial complex. Membership platform. Remote Workers Association is a social media platform for members and communities to unite, create groups and events. It has an app and an online platform. The PAC is funded by the Remote Workers Association and gives members access to the Political Action Committee. Small business membership benefits will work like a chamber of commerce, and many other benefits to the members of the Remote Workers platform. This gives you access to the Political Action Committee. This committee will support candidates who are sympathetic to our issues, regardless of political affiliation. We are going to unseat current incumbents who promote and profit from the military-industrial complex, and vote in favor of uniwar party agendas. The third prong in this for how we win is vote smarter, not harder. Voting smarter is focused not on swing states like the current two-party system is, but on low population states, where a Senate seat is just a few thousand votes away. Nomadic communities implementation. We encourage and assist nomadic communities and remote workers to gain residency in strategic states and districts. Who is a remote worker? Everyone. Business owners, digital nomads. Everyone, meaning you have a job where you work exclusively from home or a remote workstation, full-time or hybrid, contract or employee status. You're a caregiver in the home or at a remote location. College students, volunteers, those of you who moonlight online with a side gig. Business owners who work remotely or have remote employees or contractors. If your business is run from home or you live on site of your business. Farmers and ranchers. Content creators and influencers, all digital and online businesses. Digital nomad communities is you're not tied to home or office from day to day. You can work anywhere there's an internet connection. Van life, RV life, retired hobby workers, traveling healthcare workers, truck drivers. Everyone is a remote worker. This is how we, the people, unite with getting legislation passed in our favor for we, the people, and evening out the playing field for voters. So how does this all fit together? Start now. If you live in a red state, register red. Register as a Republican. If you live in a blue state, register as a Democrat. Vote in the primary. Do not vote for any incumbents, regardless of your regular political affiliation. Resist the urge to be in two-party checkers mode. Vote in the primary and do not vote for any incumbents regardless of your regular political affiliation. Next, vote in the general election and do not vote for any incumbents regardless of a political affiliation. Number 2, Remote Workers Association. Join the membership platform. This platform is used to unite communities and match remote workers and digital nomads with strategic residency and voting recommendations to work from or home base from. The membership association, its benefits to the user, there's many benefits that are going to come along with this. The membership platform is used to fund the lobbying, and the PAC's operating expenses are funded by the membership company, by the social media platform and membership in Remote Workers Association. The members will decide what issues are most important, and using the nonprofit business model, it's focused on member benefits and what works best for we, the people, regarding working from home, growing our own food, getting to the unelected military industrial complex and other industrial complexes that we have to get to. Our focus will be on the special interests. The Remote Workers PAC will support candidates who are sympathetic to our issues and our opponents to certain incumbents. We intend to unseat all incumbents who support the Uniwar Party. All PAC funds raised will be used for campaign purposes to further candidates who legislate and acknowledge our issues. We'll support campaigns and assist with ballot access to candidates who are Remote Workers Association members who run for office. Vote smarter. What that entails is college students gain residency and vote in their college district they live in. Nomadic communities gain residency in small population states. Register red in red, blue in blue, and vote in the primaries. Do not vote for incumbents. Vote in the general election. Do not vote for any incumbents. This will work to shock the system. Focus and strategy of this three-pronged approach. Number one, Remote Workers Association will first and foremost focus on all of the industrial complexes that are forced upon us by unelected authorities who have snatched control of our lives, our health, our voices, our medical decisions, the food we're allowed to consume, and how our taxpayer dollars are spent. We are taking our power back for the people. Number two, no more war crimes on our dime. Military industrial complex and weaponizing executive offices throughout our government, we are coming for you first. Most of our current 535 reps in Congress support the Uniwar Party and must be removed from office. This is a bipartisan removal process. It starts with the Senate and ends with Electoral College reform. Number three, voting smarter is focused not on swing states like the current two-party system is, but on low population states where a Senate seat is just a few thousand votes away. Nomadic communities and remote workers who can work in any state are matched with those who have residency in these areas. Number four, with less than 5% of active voters, we can make the changes needed. 60 votes in the Senate is not far off to make Electoral College reform and true democracy happen. Strategy, we the people focus on the special interests, skip the parties, proceed directly to the game board with representation, lobby, and political action committee. What does Electoral College reform look like? We the people win by popular vote. We win with the Senate redistributed by population, not by electorates. Election integrity. We will demand unhackable, blockchain type of voting system implemented in all states. Special interests. Never-ending funding will come to an end with new party reps who are not party-picked. In the Senate can no longer be easily bought into obstruction of all meaningful legislation. Election integrity. Voting confidence is restored and special interest messaging encouraging non-voter participation are foiled. The political parties. Parties will not be able to violate antitrust laws, competition, and more parties will emerge. In the Senate, parties can no longer handpick candidates. With election integrity, parties can no longer strong-arm voters into voting for the lesser of two evils. The executive branch. We will have better checks and balance when Congress is not bought by special interests. In the Senate, obstruction in the Senate gives this branch unchecked power. Election integrity, unelected officials in unelected offices will be checked. Tip to players. Nobody stole the election and promoted a loser to a winner except the Electoral College system. Thank you for playing. We hope you enjoyed the political action game. Next round, we win. Subscribe and donate at remoteworkersassociation.org. or contact us at unite@remoteworkersassociation.org.